Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am Nicole from my Pandora Charmed Life. I am a collector of Pandora, if you can't tell. This video is super special for my first time Pandora owners or new Pandora owners, or maybe you're about to be a Pandora owner. I got the idea to make this video because right after Christmas, my Instagram seemed to have blown up with questions about like the do's and the don'ts, the how-tos, how to care for your Pandora. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make a video that is going to be super helpful and educational on the do's and don'ts of Pandora and things that I've learned along the way. I'm just a collector, I don't work for Pandora, so this is all just based off my personal experience. I am by far not a professional, but I am a pretty big collector. The first question that I often get is, how do you store your Pandora bracelet? And can you store it in the little box that it came with as a gift? The first don't is do not store your Pandora in the box that it came with. It is not airtight, and being that it's not airtight, your bracelet's going to get oxidized over time, so you want to make sure you're storing it properly. How do you do that? I have a couple of tricks. In the cleaning kit, you are given two little pouches. One is black and one is white. I do store my bracelets in both of these pouches, but if you read the care instructions, the white pouch with this little like blush pink ribbon is meant for Pandora Rose. So these are two options if you choose to purchase the cleaning kit on how to store your jewelry. The other option is there are these like tarnish resistant pouches from Pandora. I actually haven't received one of these in a really long time, so I don't know if they're still offering it or if it's certain stores that offer it, but this is another pouch in which you can store your jewelry. Probably my favorite is an anti-tarnishing pouch that I bought off Amazon. I forget how much it was. I will include a link in the description below because it came with like a pack of 10, and these are made for silver jewelry, anti-tarnishing. It's got a Ziploc so that it keeps them airtight, and I love these. These are my go-tos. When I first started and I didn't really know about these, I just used regular Ziploc bags that you would use like the snack size to put my jewelry in. Now, back to can you store in this pouch? As long as you're putting it in an airtight little thing, if this is all you have, feel free to store it in there, but just make sure that you have it covered. All right, my other don't is don't store your jewelry in the bathroom or anywhere where you might have like extreme humidity, because the humidity will also cause your bracelet to oxidize faster. I mentioned Pandora Rose, which we'll get into later on in this video. I do not store my Pandora Rose in anti-tarnishing bags. I only store them, that is like my exception. I will only store them in these bags. So I want to make a note of that. Pandora Rose should not go in these. My second how-to is how to care for your jewelry. The more charms you add onto your bracelet, the bigger your investment's going to be. So you want to make sure that you're taking really good care of your bracelets. The rules that I follow are don't sleep in it, especially in the beginning when your bracelets are you're going to notice they're kind of stiff and not very flexible. They do get more flexible with time, but when they're really stiff and you sleep on them, you're likely to like put a bend in it, ruin it. You don't want to do that, so don't sleep in them. Don't take a shower with them. Don't do exercises. Don't go swimming with your jewelry. Just all those like chemicals can jeopardize your jewelry, and it's just not a risk I want to take. I know a lot of people who are like, oh, whatever, I shower with my jewelry, it's how I clean it. That's totally fine if that's what they want to do. I'm kind of a stickler on following Pandora's rules, so I don't do it because I want to protect my investment and I want to make sure that I don't void the warranty by not following their instructions. A couple best practices that I also follow is make sure that I put my perfume and my lotions on well before I'm going to put my bracelets on. That way those chemicals don't rub off on my jewelry so easily. And then, I learned this the hard way, is do not overfill your bracelets. I was like over eager at the beginning and I was trying to fit all my charms into the little like middle section, and they were really tight. I thought it worked. I thought I was okay. I wasn't. I totally ruined that bracelet. Luckily, I took it to the store. They educated me on what not to do, and I've never done it again. And they were kind enough to exchange it, even though it was my fault, not a defect of the bracelet. So just make sure, and I'll show you what I mean here somewhere in this area. Make sure there's some movement between the charms. You want a little bit of space. You don't want them like rubbing against each other. So just make sure that you're not overfilling your bracelet, because that's the quickest way I ruined my first bracelet. The other common question that I get is, how do you clean your Pandora jewelry? I actually have a video that I've already made on that, and I will go ahead and insert the video link here. I'll insert all the helpful videos that I've already created in the description below as well. But again, this is something that I'm a stickler for. I follow Pandora's instructions. I use a mild dish soap. I use clear. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I make sure my dish soap is clear. I use lukewarm water. You don't want it to be hot. You just want it to be lukewarm. And I actually use the little cleaning brush that came with Pandora's cleaning kit. And again, there's a soaking process, a scrubbing process, a rinsing process. My video goes really in depth on what that looks like. A couple things, Pandora Rose, I don't clean the same way. I really just kind of get a damp cloth and wash my Pandora Rose. Other than that, oh, and if there's pearls on a charm, you don't want to put it in water, use a polishing cloth either. So no polishing cloth on Pandora Rose or pearls. Everything else is fair game. Things that I do not do, and again, a lot of people do, it's a proven practice for them and it works for them, but I won't do it, is I will not use baking soda, toothpaste. Windex is a common thing I hear works from like a lot of silver jewelry people, but I tend to avoid that with my Pandora jewelry. And then there's something else. Oh, the like silver polishing liquids. You don't want to do that. I really just use a polishing cloth and that's it. I do have a favorite polishing cloth that, let's see if I have one here. Okay, this one is like already really used. This is my favorite polishing cloth. It's called Sunshine Polishing Cloth. Again, I'll include the link below. This is my favorite. I find this to do like the best job getting rid of the tarnish on my jewelry. And I kind of follow up with one of Pandora's cloths just to kind of get rid of some of the residue that I feel like that one leaves. I don't know. Maybe I double my work by using 2 different cloths, but I like the outcome, so that's what I do. The next question I often get is, how do you pick the right size? Again, I already have a video on that. I think there's just way too much information to put into this video because I want this to be kind of a quick, brief guide on how to care for your jewelry, but sizing is very important, and the sizes are going to vary depending on what type of jewelry you're getting. So check out that video and hopefully that's helpful. If not, leave me a question, I'll be happy to answer. The next thing I feel like every Pandora collector needs to know, whether you're an older collector or a newer collector, is some of the terminology and some of the different lines that they've come up with. So we're going to be talking about charm bracelets, and you're going to hear things like moments, essence, and reflections. So a moments bracelet is the traditional charm bracelet that Pandora has. The essence bracelet is a smaller silicone lined bead that goes on a smaller chain bracelet. And then reflections is their newer line that is more a flat bracelet that has clips on it. Those you're going to hear often. So it's very important that you know that some charms do not go on some of those bracelets. Moments charms are just for your snake chain bracelets that are your moments bracelets, and bangles can use them as well, as long as it's a bangle that takes charms, because of course Pandora also has bangles that don't take charms. Other terminology that you're going to need to know, and I'll include some pictures here, is you're going to hear the word threaded. So like, what's a threaded charm? A threaded charm has almost like, think about a screw, like it has threading on the inside. That way it screws onto the bracelet. That's important to know. Open works. An open works charm is one that does not have, it's just open works. Like you can see through it actually. Then you have silicone lined charms. I mentioned essence before. Those are all silicone lined. But there are some silicone lined Usually it's clips actually, or safety chains that can be put on bracelets, whether they're bangles or snake chains. There's those options as well. You're gonna hear clips. Clips are primarily used for the little threaded sections within a bracelet, and I often get asked, are clips necessary? If you have a regular Moments bracelet that has the little threaded sections, it's absolutely necessary. One, it helps to create like 3 different sections within your bracelet, so it's really helpful for designing. But if you don't have clips on and you have movement on your bracelet, as it goes over those threads, I have seen people completely ruin their bracelets because of that. So be aware of that as well. You're gonna hear safety chains. I often get asked, are safety chains necessary? I absolutely think so. Do I religiously use them? I don't, but I try to use them as often as I possibly can. Again, you want to protect your investment. Safety chains help, 1, charms not fall off your bracelet, but 2, if your bracelet clasp was to come undone for any reason, it like keeps the bracelet on your wrist. So I do recommend safety chains for Moments bracelets. They're okay for bangles. Bangles don't like fall open like like the normal bracelets do. So I do recommend safety chains. And the other term you're gonna hear are Muranos. Muranos are your glass beads. And then dangles, of course, they're the charms that have a little dangle. Some things to get familiar with as you're exploring what kind of charms are right for you. There's also different like metals or finishes. You have your regular sterling silver. You'll have like enamel charms. It's primarily silver, but then the detail is with enamel. You have 2 types of gold. There's the original gold, which is 14 karat gold, and more recently they have a line called Shine, which is 18 karat gold plated. And then there's our Pandora Rose. People often think it's rose gold. It is not rose gold. Pandora created their own combination of metals that make a rose gold tone, and they call it Pandora Rose. So I love it. I wear Pandora Rose all the time. I'm wearing it right now. Just be aware it's not actual rose gold. All right, another question that I often get asked is, how do you find out about promotions? One of the easiest ways to find out promotions that your store is holding is to sign up for email notifications, whether it's through like the Pandora online store, or if you have a different jeweler who sells Pandora. Any other jeweler you might use to buy Pandora, they usually send out emails a couple days before a promo starts. Promos that you can expect depending on your region. I'm from the US, so this is what we have, is we have buy more, save more events, you know, buy so many, get 1 free events. There might be a free bracelet or free earrings or free rings promotion. Some of my favorite promotions are actually gifts with purchase, where you get a gift with purchase. And usually it's some sort of like jewelry traveling case. It varies sometimes, but it's primarily some sort of jewelry box. The other thing to do is ask your sales associates. A lot of jewelers will give you a call when there's a promo coming. Again, it's like a couple days before. I used to have really good ways of finding out promotions before by looking at bloggers. My favorite blogger was Maura Pandora. It's the MauraPandorablog.com. She used to be really good at being up to date on all the promotions that were happening around the world. Not giving up on her, even though she hasn't updated her blog in a long time. I'm like still holding on. But the Art of Pandora blog is also really good for promotions. And then my Xpressions.net is another blog that's also really good for promotion information. Again, I'll post some of those links in my description. Other things to look out for is, are there outlets in your area? If you're in the US, do you know about Rue La La? If you don't, you need to. That's where you can get up to 60% off Pandora every once in a while. Again, I'll include a link on that in this video. And then being aware of buying your charms used or pre-loved from collectors. Again, be careful. There's a lot of fakes on there. You can also visit my video. It was like 6 hacks on how to save money when buying Pandora. So check that out. A lot of useful information there too. Okay, and then to wrap this up, I'm going to answer additional FAQs that have quick answers to them. One is, are there any issues with the Pandora jewelry that has CZs? For the most part, no. I have had a ring where a CZ fell out and I took it back to the store and they exchanged it no problem. So I guess there's a potential risk, but for the most part, a ton of my items have CZs and I've had no issues. How many charms fit on a charm bracelet? That is going to be very, very, very dependent on how big your bracelet is, as well as the size of your charms. Some of the charms can be as small as spacers, or even smaller like a dangle, and some of their charms can be pretty chunky. So really you're gonna just have to test it out to see how many fit on your specific bracelet. Usually it's around somewhere between 15 and 20, but again, depends on how many charms you have or what size those charms are. You can always, when you're adding on to your bracelet, you can always take your charm bracelet with you to the store and they'll put them on for you right then and there. That way you can make sure that they actually fit. Okay, another common question, are clips essential? Yes, they are. If you have a bracelet that has clip stations, you absolutely want to use clips. And then same with safety chains, right? I would definitely use a safety chain if you have a charm bracelet, especially if it's the smooth bracelet that doesn't have the threading. Another question that I got was, how do you travel with your jewelry if you don't have a traveling jewelry case? Again, these can come in handy as long as you already have your bracelet in some sort of Ziploc baggy anti-tarnishing pouch. These are totally okay. I actually used these before I started getting traveling cases, so they can come in handy. Other things to note, people ask, hey, it feels like the bracelet's kind of heavy once it's filled up. Yes, it sure is. You have sterling silver and a lot of it that's sitting on one bracelet. It does tend to be heavy at first. Shockingly heavy, I think, when I first filled up my first bracelet, and that I just got used to over time. Another question I get is, do you feel like pinching the little hairs on your wrist? Yes, I do. I think I've become so immune to it because I've worn bracelets for so long at this point that either I've become immune to it or it doesn't happen anymore. Pretty sure you just don't notice it anymore, but or maybe as you fill up your bracelet, that snake chain isn't tugging at them. So it gets better in time, I promise you. I often get asked, preference-wise, which way should your charms face? And that is 100% preference, right? If you want them facing you, have them facing you. If you like them facing somebody else, have it face somebody else. It's 100% preference. If you want it flip both, have it be both. There's no right or wrong way on how to place your charms on your bracelet, which leads me to another one. Another question I got is, how do you mix and match your bracelets? What colors go together? Do Muranos fit on there? Do they not? Again, it is 100% your preference. I tend to, if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow my channel, you'll probably notice I have some sort of like theme going, whether it's color theme or like a moments theme, and I don't have a ton of like multicolored, but some of the most beautiful bracelets that I've seen collectors put together do have like a lot of different colors on them. So I would say take a look at it, see what you like and what you don't like. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bracelet that doesn't match perfectly, because I think that's the beauty of Pandora. You can create whatever it is that you want, and then you can always change it and recreate it if you don't like it. Thank you for watching. I hope these tips were helpful. There's some of the things that I've learned along the way. Again, I don't work for Pandora. I'm just a collector. It's my creativity outlet to create designs and to collect all these charms and to go hunting for the retired. Oh, shoot. Okay. Got to talk about retired. Should have thrown this in terminology. You need to know about retired pieces. So Pandora periodically will discontinue making a certain charm, and then it eventually retires. So the stores will no longer sell it. So be aware that charms, once they're out, they don't last forever. They go into this retirement place, and then the charms become a little bit hard to find. It's part of the fun of collecting to kind of hunt some of those down, but just know that Pandora does evolve constantly, and they're constantly putting out new collections, and as they do that, they have to retire some pieces, so be aware of that. Anyway, hope you found this video helpful. If you're new to Pandora, I hope you are enjoying creating your first bracelet. It's been such a fun process for me, so I hope it is for you too. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have a question that I didn't address and you can't find the answers in my other video, ask me in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. You will get a lot of Pandora content, a little bit of fashion and lifestyle thrown in here and there, but mostly it's just me talking about how I design my Pandora and what kind of shopping hauls I do. Then you get little glimpses into my little princess because she likes to make cameos on me sometimes. Hey Presley, want to come say hi?
No, I'm busy.
She's busy. She's actually, her 4th birthday is coming up, so she has a catalog, a Pandora catalog that she's circling what charms she might have on her wish list, so she's busy. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.